Hey everyone, it's Warriors NRL Fanatics here. Hope you're all doing well. Before getting into the video, if you are a new viewer to this YouTube channel and you haven't done so already, and I highly recommend you do, and it's much appreciated. It really shows your support for the content, and it really does help out the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free as well. It doesn't cost anything at all, and it really means a lot. So make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, and thanks to those who have recently subscribed. Also, don't forget to like this video as well, share this video around, and comment your thoughts down in the comments below. But today's video, I am going to go through my signings to watch in the 2023 NRL season for the NZWarriors. Now, the first player I've got on the list here is Chance Nicoll-Klokstad. Now, Chance Nicoll-Klokstad actually used to play for the Warriors. Everyone's got to remember that because he came through our juniors system as well. He didn't get many first grade opportunities when he was at the club, so he went to the Canberra Raiders and pursued an NRL career there, and he's played a lot of NRL for the Canberra Raiders as well. But last season, Chance Nicoll-Klokstad, wasn't a regular in the first grade side due to injuries and probably due to form as well. But you can see that Chance Nicoll-Klokstad, over the years, looks like he was a little bit homesick. I mean, he's played he's played some great games for the Canberra Raiders, especially in 2019 where he led the Canberra Raiders to that grand final. And that year he was very good. He was in great form. And look, I think for me, probably in that year, he was one of the top 6 fullbacks in the game, Chance Nicoll-Klokstad. So, look, he's not a player that's got the flashiest of steps. He's not a Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He's not a James Tedesco or a Kalen Ponga and the likes. But I think Chance Nicoll-Klokstad's a very good player, when he is on form. So, look, I think, personally for me, with Chance Nicoll-Klokstad, I reckon he is in for a very big year. I think coming back to New Zealand, being back with his family and that, he's been away from his family for a while also. So, he has a lot of family in New Zealand, and I think the main purpose for Chance Nicoll-Klokstad to come back to New Zealand also, and be able to see his family more regularly, and just return to the Warriors, which is a club where he, probably didn't get his best opportunities yet, but this is one of his biggest chances now with no Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, and Reece Walsh was at the club but he's gone. So I think Chance Nicoll-Klokstad's in for a big year, and I think he's, personally for me, the signing to watch this year. And look, I think if he stays injury free, he's going to have a big season. So yeah, look, that's a player that I'm looking forward to watching this season. Now, the next player on that list that I have is Te Maire Martin. Now, Te Maire Martin is a player that's been around for a bit. He's been a few clubs. He's played for the Tigers. He's played for the Cowboys. He's played for Penrith. He's also played for the Broncos. He came from the Broncos last season. And Te Maire Martin, I think, personally, is a very talented player. He's very young. Reminds me of a young Benji Marshall. I know it's a big comparisonation to compare Te Maire Martin to Benji Marshall, but look, he reminds me of a young Benji Marshall in the making there. So, look, Te Maire Martin, he's had some difficulties in his life. He's had a health scare. He had to take a break from the game. He came back, and he's come back very strongly, in my personal opinion. So, look, I think Te Maire Martin's going to be very good in the halves for the Warriors this year. I personally think that, him and Shaun Johnson are going to combine very well, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes this season. So, Te Maire Martin is a sign to watch for me, and look, if you haven't seen, I'm sure a lot of people have seen his highlights before, but if you haven't seen his highlights, go and check them out on YouTube. But yeah, Te Maire Martin's, a player to watch for me in terms of signings this season. Now, another player on my list I've gone with is Marata Niukore. Now, Marata Niukore is another player that actually was at the NZWarriors, believe it or not. He was at the club. He played a bit of juniors for the Warriors, and then he went over to the Parramatta Eels. And look, I think he's been playing great for the Parramatta Eels over the last couple of years. Look, I think, you know, he can play anywhere. Look, he can play in the second row. He can play in the centres as well. He can fill in there if needed be. Now, I think Andrew Webster's already come out and said that Marata Niukore will only play centre if there is an injury in that spot. So, look, Marata Niukore, the biggest question mark is where does he fit into the side, because you've got so many good players in there. You've got likes of Mitchell Barnett as well. You know, you've got Tohu Harris who can play a bit of second row also. So, yeah, that's the biggest question mark. Does Marata Niukore get a starting spot in this team this year, or does he come off the bench? That's the biggest question mark that Andrew Webster will need to answer when, you know, the preseason trials come around and when the season comes forward. So, Marata Niukore, I think, is, you know, a very good, you know, young player, and I think he's going to be a sign to watch this season. Speaking of Mitchell Barnett is another player that I have on my list. Now, Mitchell Barnett, you know, he's a player that's very aggressive, very passionate for the jersey. Mitchell Barnett, he's a workhorse. He's a workhorse for me. You know, he's a player that the Warriors need. He really is, and I think he will bring plenty to the side this season. Very much. The only concern, obviously, is, you know, how ill-disciplined he can get. You know, he's had a bit of a thing in the past where he's, you know, had a few suspensions and that. But I think if Mitchell Barnett can tone that down a little bit, you know, he doesn't have to tone down his aggression, because his aggression is what we need. But I think Mitchell Barnett, for me, you know, can play in the second row, you know, play on the forwards there, and I think he's a sign to watch this season, and I think he will be, you know, a key to how he combines is with the likes of Sean Johnson and Tamare Martin and Wade Egan as well. So Mitchell Barnett is a player to watch for me this season. Now, the last player I put on my list, it is Luke Metcalf. Now, Luke Metcalf, for those of you who probably haven't seen Luke Metcalf, go check his highlights out. His highlights on YouTube, on the New South Wales Rugby League website. He, last season, played a lot of New South Wales Cup, and he's one of the main players in that Newtown Jets, I believe he played for last year. He was main part of their, you know, charge last season. So, Luke Metcalf, look, very young, very talented. Comes from the Cronulla Sharks. He played for the Cronulla Sharks. So, look, I mean, he obviously, you know, he probably left the Sharks mainly because he wants more opportunities in first grade. Now, I'm not too sure where Luke Metcalf fits in the side this year, because there's so many players that, you know, might be ahead of him right now, but it all depends on what happens in the preseason. It all depends. So, look, I think Luke Metcalf, I see him making his debut sometime this season. Whether it's the start of the year, who knows, but I think Luke Metcalf is definitely a sign to watch, and, you know, he can play a bit of fullback, he can play in the halves, you know, he could probably play a bit of utility if the team needs him, but yeah, I reckon he's a sign to watch for me this season, and he's very talented, fast, skillful as well. So those are my signings to watch for the One New Zealand Warriors for the 2023 season. Look, there's plenty of other signings as well, but these are the players that I reckon are the ones to watch, personally, in my opinion. Now, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Do you agree with my signings to watch for 2023, or do you have other players that are your signings to watch for the New Zealand Warriors this season? Let me know in the comments below. And also, don't forget to like this video as well. Make sure you click the thumbs up on the video. Click that thumbs up button. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. And yeah, share this video around. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.